Hi, my name's Rishu, and I'm the opinion editor at the Daily Titan.
I'm Hayley, Slye, I'm the sports editor at the Daily Titan. We're talking about Gilmore Girls. So it's basically been 8 years between the time the last season ended, so the original series, Gilmore Girls, and Gilmore Girls: A Day in the Life. So we see Rory at age 32 and Lorelai at 16 years older than that.
Yeah, I don't really know.
So I think the point of the series is just to look at what's happened in the last 8 years and where they are now. I think one of the fundamental issues with this series, though, is that we don't know who Rory is. Like, Rory as a character, we were talking about this.
Yeah.
She's a little bit like, it's nebulous. Like, her character changes. Like, she's sort of one person in the original series, and now she's out on her own. She had the New Yorker piece.
Yeah.
And she, basically got spit out back into the world. And, we see her going through turmoil, but we don't really see, like, who she is in that turmoil.
Yeah.
And I think that that's sort of been a problem with the Gilmore Girls series as a whole, not just Gilmore Girls: A Day in the Life. There was a lot of stuff in A Day in the Life that I feel like they could have cut out, too. Like, it almost went a little long for me.
They were very
and
rushed.
There was parts that were so good. Like, the relationship between Lorelai and Emily is just such... It's so good.
Perfect. They ended it so perfectly with
that.
They
really did.
Emily's ending, Emily's storyline, and Lorelai's, and then Luke's I thought was okay, just because it's Luke. What are you gonna do? There's not much you can do there, but he's amazing. And then it was a lot. I think they forced a lot in there just so they can have the fans go, oh yeah, I remember that. But then they really sped through too much. I think they didn't really cover Rory as much as I wanted. Really.
Or they spent a lot of time on Rory, but I don't know. I just think the character of Rory compared to the character of Lorelai and the character of Emily and the character even of Luke or of Richard, like, even if Richard's not in this series, like, Richard was still a presence in this series. And for Rory's character to sort of compete with all of those voices already, I mean, I feel like A Day in a Life, we see Rory a little bit more than we did in the original series, but it also reflects, like,
And it could also be, I think you brought this up, where she kind of just lives in the shadow of her mom. Like, even in the whole town, they're all like, oh, it's Lorelai's kid.
Yeah.
And, like, it kind of comes out when they throw that big party for Rory, but then it's also like, oh, Luke made that happen because he, cares about Rory and stuff and, all that. And,
I think where we see Rory the most in this is almost in her relationship with Jess, even in the first series. Like, when Jess comes in and he sits down with her and he says, look, you're a writer. Like, I feel like we see Rory more when she's interacting with Jess than we do in any other part of the series. Especially in the first 2 episodes, Lorelai and Rory are both sort of like anti-heroes in a way that they weren't really in the first series. You know what I mean? Like, Lorelai, Emily has that whole speech, like, Lorelai, you don't do anything for anybody else, which is one of the best moments of the series, that conversation after Lorelai speaks. After she messes up.
That's pretty bad.
But I feel like, in the first 2 episodes, like, Lorelai isn't this, she never was an angel, but she was always very likable, and in that series I feel like you see her cracks, sort of.
It's a real show, I think, as cliche as it is, but, like, I also think one thing they messed up a little bit on was, in this one specifically, where they had a lot of cliche tropes and stuff in the show. Like, there were things like, oh, she finds a guy and the guy makes her happy and blah blah blah. Like, that happens a lot, but they did it in a really real way with dialogue, because they have such amazing dialogue. I think anybody knows that. Like,
it's so good. They're so good at dialogue, and they're so good at emotion. And I think that both of those things really came through in the series. It wasn't perfect, and I think that there was a lot of things they could have and should have cut out, but overall, I think this is a good experience for fans of Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
The original series.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's really great. It's really sad at that point.
It was really sad, but I think that that's what made it really good.
Yeah.
I think that, almost like everything that dealt with Richard or like just dealt with Lorelai and Emily's relationship, like, that was just so well done. And I think that Gilmore Girls gets a reputation for being very, like, idyllic and like this, Connecticut town that's sleepy and charming. But behind that, you really have these characters that, are real and engaging, and like they're just really well done.
Yeah. I agree. It was very good.